Alright, I'm going to see if I can't work on this quilt right here. And whenever I looked at the name of it, I thought it said Bacon Light. It's Beacon Light. Alright, we need to iron it down and all that good stuff. And let's see, what we're going to do first is iron it, but we're going to go ahead and look at the backing of it. There's 4 parts, and all 4 of them are the same. So what I want to do with it is let's see what I'm going to cut. I only need 3 of the tiers, it looks like. So I want to save one. See here how close I am. I want to save one to try to make a book out of. So let's see what we can do about trying to make it work. Alright. Scissors. Alright, I'm gonna go right down through here. Alright. Now, let's see, now do I need the glue in it or no glue? Come on, why aren't you working out for me? Where are you at, corner? Let's see. I may need all of it. No, I don't. See, how am I going to figure this out? Let's see. Let's see if I can't open it. Because I want to try to save one to make a book out of. I'll probably need all 4 of them. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I could cut one down. Alright. Let's go ahead and cut another one. And then that way we've got it.
All right, friends, we have Jerry Marzinski coming on the show today. And Jerry is somebody that I've heard about for a very long time. He works in the mental health industry. He's actually a mental health professional. And he, throughout the 30, 40 years of his professional career working with people and patients, he's come to the understanding that there's a large amount of people who are diagnosed schizophrenic, who are not schizophrenic, and are actually communicating with entities. They're actually having entities within their bodies communicating with him. It's crazy. He has some really wild stories that he's going to be sharing with us today, where these entities did not like the fact that he was asking certain questions and prodding, and they asked the person that's hosting them to be able to directly speak to Jerry. And what happened after that is just crazy. So let's get to Jerry right now. Dr. Jerry Marzinski on the show. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good, except for the computer
Yeah.
phone dangle. But
this happens. This happens. You know, when we talk about these kind of topics, it happens. And I'll tell you that because you and I felt like there was a couple times we were about to launch into conversation before we started recording. So I just like, let's just start recording. So the first time this happened to me, I had a friend who was talking about similar things that you're talking about, just from a little bit of a different angle. Maybe, I'm not sure yet. But he told me every time he's talking about this on somebody's podcast that their system starts glitching and the recording gets, messed up or whatever. And I told him, I was like, because I heard him and he's my friend. I love him. He's, all that. But I was like, we'll see what happens. So I said, why don't you come down to the studio? We'll do it in person. Ain't nothing in the glitch. We'll get your whole thing out. And he comes down, we do a 2-hour recording, and one mixer board later, because he like whatever we talked about fried my mixer board. I had to buy a brand new one. And so every time I do an in-studio recording, behind my guest is a shelf, and you'll see the mixer board I used to use sitting on the shelf. It's just now as a decorative piece because it doesn't work anymore. This stuff happens a lot.
No, at this point, if something doesn't go wrong, it's abnormal. I mean, it's like every time I talk about this topic, something goes wrong. It might be small, maybe as big as, the sound goes out or the video goes out or the internet goes out. I mean, it's always something. There's always something.
Yeah, no, it's becoming a frequent thing for me as well. I think it's because I'm hitting on a lot of these types of topics more often. And, we'll see how things go today. I want to say that you... So first of all, let me just back up here. Jerry, you are a retired psychotherapist, 40 years. And one thing, I was reading through your bio, you said that you studied at Temple University. Are you from the Philadelphia area? Did you just spend time there in college? Because I just moved from there.
I was raised across the river in Burlington, New Jersey, by the Burlington-Bristol Bridge.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I traveled from there to Temple University every day.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because me and my family just moved from the Philadelphia area to East Tennessee 2 years ago. So when I saw Temple, I was like, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm not no dummy. I mean, I'm not the brightest guy in the shed, but,
Good move.
The city of zombies now. So, but anyways, I just wanted to make sure that I hit that because I wanted to see if we're from the same area. It turns out we are. So that's cool. So you are somebody who has popped up on my show over the years, and it's a name that has been brought to me in conversation. And it's one of those things where you hear it, but then you forget to look up the person and look into the person. And I forget now who most recently was talking about you, but we got connected, and it's just been, I feel like, a long time coming. And when you and I were just talking here before we started this recording, I said to you how I want to dive into the how you came to discovering the truth behind schizophrenia. And I was kind of like doing it softly, and you're just like, it's all messed up. And I was just like, okay, I didn't want to be stepping on your toes. You're the one with the doctorate, So.
Well, I don't have a doctorate, but
okay.
Well, I got halfway there toward one before I said, this is bullshit. I can't deal with it anymore.
I got you.
2 years. I'm thinking, well, they must be hiding the truth in the PhD programs. They don't tell the master's level or undergraduate. The truth must be in the I got up there. They don't know shit. They don't know nothing.
Hey, listen, I agree. So there's a lot of things that I have beef with when it comes to mainstream anything, really. And I have a really hard time when you have people who are saying they know, but they have such opposing views of other people who are looked at as highly intelligent people. I'm like, well, if you guys can't agree, then how can I know that any one of you actually know anything? I mean, at some point, there's got to be a real truth here, right? I mean, and it just seems like people can't agree on stuff. And I'm just like, well, I'll just figure it out myself.
The proof is in the results. Bottom line, if it works, it works. And the stuff they're teaching does not work. and the foundations of what they're teaching is not the truth, so it doesn't work. I mean, we're spiritual beings. I mean, without the spirit, we're just a lump of matter. I mean, and they completely ignore that. They and what was it? 8 years of psychology counseling and graduate school. They never mentioned spirit once.
Really?
No, not really. Never. Never. And they didn't want you reading kind of spiritual type stuff. I mean, to me, what it felt like, especially in the PhD program, was like brainwashing. I mean, it was just the same thing. They put you in this pressure cooker, turn up the heat, and then you will do this and you will do that, and it's like the overall feeling was like we're gods, you're upcoming gods, and everybody else is below you. I mean, that was like the unwritten message in that doctoral program.
Man.
I don't think they're all like that, but the one I was in was like that doctoral program.
Man.
I don't think they're all like that, but the one I was in was like that.
I mean, I'm sure there's plenty like that. Just when you look at the attitude for me, maybe from the outside looking in, the attitude that you see from that realm of the world where, the doctorates and all that, it just seems like we'll tell you what to believe and just trust us because we know we're doctorates.
Yeah, well, that started off even in undergraduate school.
Right. We have this done. So, I'm going to go down this way and down this way. If Mama Cat will love on me. Yeah, Mama Cat will love on me, then we'll do it. Yes, I will. Yeah, you pretty girl. Alrighty, we're going to get this done. Mama Cat, you've already got all the dirt all over it. Yeah, you do. You don't care, do you? Yeah, this thing is just for you, ain't it? I think it turned out pretty good. I do think I do.
That's one of the biggest things that irked me about undergraduate and at Temple University. You'd have all these psychology textbooks, but except for experimental, you couldn't go check out anything. You didn't. You had basically it was just believe us. This is all true. And I remember. First of all, I don't trust authority at all. I never did. I mean, ever since I was a kid. Second of all, I'm an adrenaline junkie. Without those two traits, I would have never got to where I was in exploring this stuff. Because at times it got terrifying. But one of the first things I ran into at Temple University was, I think I was taking an abnormal psychology class, and they assigned a paper written by a clinical psychologist. Okay? That paper said if two crazy people met each other and they both had the same delusion. So if both of them believed that they were Trudeau, one of them would have to change their delusion to something else. And even as an undergraduate, I didn't know anything back then. I go, why would that have to happen? They're both nuts. Why would one have to change so the other one could be this other thing? It made no sense. But I had no way to prove it. You can't go ahead and try to get into a mental health center or a private psychiatric hospital or a state psychiatric hospital. Tell them, hey, I want to investigate schizophrenia. I want to talk to these guys. I want to see what's really going on. You'll never get in the door. And the 40-some years I spent working on the front lines of mental health, I never, ever saw a researcher, any kind of researcher, on the front lines actually looking at what was happening. They won't let them in. So all this research comes from the universities, which were taken over by the Rockefellers back in 1910. When they made with the Flexner report, they made it illegal for universities to graduate anybody who didn't graduate from a pharmaceutical kind of curriculum. Okay, so it all revolved around drugs. all the other things went out. I mean, electric therapy, naturopathy, all these different kind of treatments were all kind of sidelined because Rockefeller paid off the Congress, and they passed these laws called the Flexner Report, saying you got to teach pharmacological medicine or you can't graduate students. And that put all the universities on the chopping block, you know. So they had to start teaching what these people were telling them to. The pharmacy, you know, the big pharma has taken over the university. They virtually own the universities at this point. You know, if you don't teach what they want you to teach, your grants dry up. If you want to publish something that goes against their medication garbage, you know, they won't publish it. You won't get reviewed. They have a lot of power, and they're not in your best interest. They're to make money. That's all they want to do, make money. They'll sell you any kind of drug you'll eat as long as they get money.
Yeah. Well, I think we've been seeing that pattern a lot through the last several years. And I don't think I think it's becoming a more and more common understanding of this industry. And it is an industry, you know?
Oh, yeah.
So you're the author of an amazing journey into the psychotic mind, breaking the spell of the ivory tower. And what I would like to do is, and the link is going to be in the description of this episode.
Here's what it looks like.
If you're watching right now, it's right there on the screen. Throughout your professional career, you started connecting these dots, and there were certain specific situations that you found yourself in that just left you feeling like, okay, so I'm actually communicating with something, or there's actually something tangibly communicating through this person that is not just an imaginary thing in their brain because they're crazy.
All right, let's see what we can do. Mama Cat, it's starting to rain outside, and I want to see what I can do about getting this done. Now I want to go down this way here and down this way on each and every one of them, so it'll look, you know, really good, I hope, and all. So let's see if we can't get that done. Alrighty, I'm forgetting to do this. It's something that really needs to be done. Alright, let's see. This, I need to get the middle of it. Come on, Mama Cat, you're gonna have to move. Alright. We have right here. So I need to. No, you're not, Mama. You're not gonna do that. Alright. See what I can do about rolling this right here up to that one. Oh, man, I got the pin down. Look, I don't want you pinned here. Alright. Roll that one down. Yeah, Mama Cat, I'm doing this. Whether you like it or not, it's getting done. Yeah. Oh, come on. I know you can clamp. Oh, come on. Let go. Alright, I got one more. Go through. Ahead, then we go sew it down. What I'm going to do is sew it down this side first. Wow, that right there is most definitely not even, but there ain't really much I can do about that. And just go sideways with it and go up, because it's not even how much. And this right here is kind of not even either, but we're gonna go ahead and do it anyway and see what we can do.
I would love for you to kind of share your story of how you went through this process of discovery, because for years on my show, I talk about these different types of things and the spiritual realm, and how I think that a lot of schizophrenia is misdiagnosed. I don't even say a lot, because I don't know, but I did believe that schizophrenia, there was a lot of room for misdiagnosis because of the lack of adherence to a spiritual realm. And I've had one or two ladies on the show in the past, at least two ladies in the past on the show, that were studying to be psychologists and go into this field because they believed that very thing, and they felt like the industry was not doing these people justice.
No, it's not.
So with that said, I would love for you to kind of just launch us into this process for you of how you kind of came to this understanding, and that, these are not just voices in crazy people's heads.
Yeah, that took years before I got to that point. And I didn't want to believe it myself. So, when I got onto the front lines, the first job I had was at Central State Hospital in Millersville, Georgia. This place was most likely the biggest psychiatric hospital on the planet at the time. There were like 10,000 patients there. I mean, it was the size of a small city. But I started into. Let me start at the beginning. I started into telling you about that paper by the clinical psychologist saying two crazy people who had the same delusion, one of them would have to change, and it made no sense to me. I didn't have access to a clinical population. Neither do anybody in undergraduate school. So you can't check out what these people are saying to you. You can't go see it for yourself, for the most part, except in experimental psychology. You can go into the rat lab and you can see those things working. But fast forward maybe 20 years from that point where I read that article, I was on the first floor or second floor of a psychiatric unit. I was watching a guy talk to himself. So he's talking to his voices. And what they told us in college was the voices are hallucinations. They didn't say anything more about them. It was, they're hallucinations. They're auditory hallucinations. It means they're hearing something. But they didn't go any deeper into that. And I heard this guy talking to himself, carrying on a conversation with these voices. And it wasn't word cabbage. It wasn't word salad. I mean, this was a coherent, semi-logical conversation. And, it was like listening to one side of a phone call. You could hear what the person was saying, but you couldn't hear what he was hearing back. So I started kind of creeping up on him, getting close so I could hear the conversation. And he turns around to me and he looks at me, and he called me. And I said, "Hey, I'm Jerry. I'm the psych for this unit. I haven't seen you before. You new?" He goes, "Yeah, I just got here a few days ago." And I said, "What's your name?" And he looks me in the eye and he goes, "I'm Jesus Christ." And I thought for a second, back to that article from the clinical psychologist, and I said, No, you're not Jesus Christ. I am." And I stood there going, "What's he going to do?"
Wow.
I'm sitting there watching him. What's he going to do? So he kind of cocks his eyes up and he looks and he goes, thinking about it. And he goes, then he looks at me and he goes, "Okay, we can both be Jesus Christ." And then he walks off. And I said, Okay, they printed that lie. What else are they lying about? So that was like, okay, they're lying. They're not telling the truth. It didn't make sense in the first place. But once I got to that state hospital, other things started not making sense. Okay,
See if we can't work on this. I have all this right here side done. Now, when we come back, I'm going to work on this side. But so far, it's working out pretty good. I'm going to have to go through and cut some of these strings off. I don't know what's going on with the sewing machine, but it wants to cut my thread. And I'm going to blame it on Mama Cat, because Mama Cat wants to lay on the quilt. Yeah. Alrighty, I'm going to end this one and start another one.